Okay, classic question when you're working with investors. Should you joint venture or should you borrow money? And obviously make sure you are legally compliant and do everything within the legal rules, okay? So first off, could we just admire super yachts over here, and then I'm going to sit in front of Ibiza harbour so that you can, oh, sorry about my camera skills there. Right, we had a great weekend masterminding with a bunch of really great fun property investors who know their stuff. But there's a really interesting moment of looking at whether you joint venture with people or borrow the money. And there are differences, but they make an enormous difference to your future. So let's talk about joint venturing first off. What it is the principle of you buy, and normally I would call it sell together, but some people look at joint venturing as you buy and hold together. Me, I don't want you to do that, and I'm going to explain to you why. So we looked at buying a portfolio in a joint venture position with a third party, and then we assumed a 5% increase. I think it was like a portfolio of 20 houses, right? Which sounds a lot if you've never had any houses before, but isn't an enormous amount of money, houses when you're quite far into this game. So it's certainly something that's very achievable for almost anybody who wants to make it happen. And then we just assumed a 5% capital growth over a 25-year period, because typically you'll keep the properties for about 25 years. And then we looked at how much that capital growth would be on this particular, I can't remember whether it was about 300 grand a house, something like that. And the person would be giving away about 1.4 million pounds worth of capital growth, let alone 50% of the rent for 25 years. So you're talking about 1.4 to 2 million pounds that money ends up costing in what you might term interest for you. Versus if the person had borrowed the money for 1 year and paid interest at a fairly sizable rate, I think we were working it out on something like 8 or 10% or something, they'd be paying 45 grand interest. So do you see 1.5 to 2 million over 25 years versus 45k? You can see where you need to take the pain, don't you? You need to take the pain early in, oh golly, I've got to run a fundraising campaign if I don't have enough money to buy all the houses I want to do, and I'm going to be taking the risk, because if you're borrowing the money, you're taking all the risk. I agree with that, you are, rather than a joint venture, which is possibly a slightly easier sell, because obviously people want 50% of the uplift and you're taking none of the risk, or the properties are taking the risk, but you're giving away literally millions of pounds worth of money. Do you see my difference between an interest in 1 year, which is painful, of about 45 grand, or 1.5 to 2 million quid over a 25-year period? I don't want you doing that. I want this video to have saved you anything up to 2 million quid. And if it does, that's a huge success. So really think through the difference between joint venturing and loans, project out for a 25-year holding period and go, you know. So my thoughts are joint ventures are fantastic tools for both of you to enter in a working relationship and buy and sell together. And if you want to keep going with the same person, fabulous. How good is that? But you buy and sell, buy and sell, buy and sell. For me, if you need to raise finance, straightforward loans, for me, are the best way if you're going to raise money and buy a portfolio yourself. Clearly you're going to get it discounted. Clearly you're going to refinance and pay the person back out. But of course, you might want to run a bit of a buy to sell campaign at the same time, just to ensure that even if your refinance doesn't pull all your cash back out, you've got plenty of cash coming in to pay that investor back. But what you don't want to be doing is giving away 1.5 to 2 million quid. No. Let this 3-4 minute video save you from that. So if it's a 4-minute video, is that £1 million a minute? £500,000 a minute I've saved you? Well, that was worth watching, wasn't it? Right, kettle on, subscribe, go hit up for the next video, settle in, keep going. Good luck to you in property.